Hello everyone, happy Monday and welcome for our today MTM Monday mentoring session. And our today's topic is learn about Carisa. So now I'm giving the floor to Carisa.
Thank you. Sylvie, will you lead us in a prayer to begin?
My pleasure. Okay, everyone. It's a new week. It's Monday. And we are so full of hope, and we are so full of expectations, and we are so full of joy. So join me in prayer with 3 deep breaths. And let us come in the here and the now, and let us connect. Let us connect to the highest power source there is. And let us connect to ourselves. Oh, dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this community. We thank you that you made each and every one a unique puzzle piece. We have our own eye scan, we have our own thumbprint, we have our own joy soup, and what a joy it is to then come together to make this beautiful, beautiful full picture where each and every one of us is such an important part that just adds to the fullness of life and to your kingdom. So we ask that this hour together will be full of fun and that we learn so much from Carisa now. It's our year of wealth in action, and let us understand how we can also be the maximum success and learn from each other. So that we thank you for this opportunity. And we thank you for your love, and that everything is from you, and we are God traders. So we look to you for everything. And thank you for all those insights and nudges, and that we are able to come before you in prayer and ask for everything. So please open our hearts, our minds, our hands to receive more, to receive better, and to receive the goodness that comes from you. And let us remove everything that is of self, that is in the way of it. In your name we pray, dear Heavenly Father, Jesus. We love you, we praise you in your holy name. Amen. Okay, so today is learning about Carisa, and since this is our year of wealth in action, let's focus on how Carisa in Wonderland, that's what we call it, Carisa in Wonderland, how we can learn from you, Carisa, and how did you come into your beingness? And we if you have questions, put them in the chat, and we will have time at the end to ask even more. So yes, maybe you give us an intro of how you did it. And you're still on mute.
All right. Wonderful, everyone. Well, our new book with Receive Joy is just perfect for this very lecture, my story. And I praise that everybody and request that everybody fill one of these out, because it really reminds you of the greatness of who we are in this moment. This was our publishing that we just finished in the end of the year, and now it's here at the home, and it's the My Story workbook. And today I am telling some of my story. Very exciting, very exciting. So since it's the year of finance, I'm going to bring the highlights of my story into the financial part, and also reminding everybody of the continual manifestations that we are here to create and to be. Again, we're born as major creators, and I want to just take one moment to remind us of the creation power that was left us and why we are born to be these creators. Everything that exists starts out in a thought. That thought has to come with many repetitive thoughts and matching vibrational fields of who you are and how happy you are and enthusiastic about something. And then it translates from the invisible to the visible. So again, it really matters where your thought processes are. So throughout this 1 hour, you're going to hear me saying many, many times, and the dream is that it entices you, it encourages you. I am a deliberate planner, and creator. Again, deliberate. I am constantly understanding that because we came here to create our dreams into physical manifestation or denser thought forms that then can be things, those denser thought forms are miraculous. And when I was about 20 years old, I was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And here I am now, went through California, went to University of Wisconsin-Madison. From there, moved to California, lived in Los Angeles for a short time, and then in Beverly Hills for 8 years. So again, when we're talking about our wealth, one of it is to put yourself in the place of feeling wealthy. And so living in Beverly Hills was a wonderful position to be in, because that was the beginning of, for me, having an address in Beverly Hills, right? It was part of the dream. And we had this movie, this show that was on, the Beverly Hillbillies. I see some of us are older here on the screen, and that Beverly Hillbillies is something that a lot of us can remember. And I relate to it in a beautiful way. In that case, he struck oil, though in our case, it was just very simple. I was able to become and stay a deliberate creator. And that deliberate creator has to love the environment you're in. It has to be friendly. So that's up to each of us to plant our seeds and then water our seeds in a friendly garden, in a loving, awesome place where you feel good all the time. And when you feel good all the time, you're putting yourself in a vibrational receiving mode. And in my lifetime, I learned that I graduated from university. I was 20 years old. I moved immediately out to California. Within 2 weeks, I went to Toronto right after graduation for a week, and then was gone into Los Angeles. And what I learned there, and just my beingness, and I was, again, the creator. We're all the creator of our own experience. So be joyful about everything we create on all fronts. And I really started seeing that the opportunity for only a yes is what you put out into the universe. And I then lived my life where there was only a yes. And again, there was zero possibility for the opposite. And I started seeing that when even a human being would say the NO word to me, I said, well, guess what? I'm the deliberate creator, and I say it's going to be a yes. And when I stood in that yes, and I dreamed, this is exactly, prior to every meeting I ever had in my life, I deliberately created the outcome. Every answer that anybody was going to give me, and again, zero of what came out of their mouth, I understood the actions ultimately will be the yes towards me, in favor of my decisions, in favor of my deliberate creation. And then, bills started rolling in. Get your own apartment, you have another car, you're out there in Los Angeles, things are expensive. And then I decided it was time to be a deliberate creator with my finances. Living in Beverly Hills now in a very small 1-bedroom apartment. And it was really fun because in my creation, right, it was Dolly Parton's old apartment. Her family and her nephews, etc., used this apartment. And then when I took it over, so here I am now dreaming and living my dream. I can believe she's doing very well financially. I'm living in her space. She's moved on to grow, and I'm 20 years old, and I'm going to start in her case and step in her shoe print and grow too. And then I listen to my stories. So it's very important to surround yourself with some people who have created great wealth. So I was living in a nice apartment complex with a swimming pool in Beverly Hills in a courtyard. And the lady that owned the complex was an older Jewish woman. And I asked her how she came up to her wealth. And she said, well, I bought this apartment complex for a very small amount years and years ago. And now it's sitting on Olympic Boulevard in Beverly Hills, and it's worth millions of dollars. And it was fun for me to collect and listen to and then glean. Remember, gleaning off everybody's millionaire story. How did they do it? So in our wealth garden that we created together just the other day, and that I'm charging you each to continually creating, real estate is an option as one of those plots. So I was able to glean her story. And then I realized that just going to an average bank, Bank of America was the bank in California at the time. And I lived right next to Century City, which was the one of the studios, the big studios, and all the big, beautiful, tall buildings. And so it was lovely that I got to go visit the studios, and I got to embrace that whole life, that people had wealth, and ask some questions. How did you do it? What was your way? Again, gleaning from anybody that I could glean from that was around me. And it was so beautiful to keep gleaning these pieces. So immediately they went from just having a bank account that's going to pay you 0.01% or something, to go into, at that time it was Merrill Lynch. And I got myself a management account, and I was able to take my money out of my paycheck, and instead of putting it in Bank of America, I put it into Merrill Lynch, and immediately I would pick and put it into some stocks. And I loved it because I could walk down that street at 7 a.m. every morning in Beverly Hills, all dressed up on the way to work downtown, and I was able to put some of my paycheck away regularly, consistently taking some of my paycheck and putting it away. And that was the dream that I had, that I could consistently get in that habit, this planning habit of making something awesome happen with my money. So I had that immediate CMA account, and in Merrill Lynch, I started my stocks. I started also then with an IRA, retirement time. So I had that money put away. And after my IRA, I immediately then started buying some mutual funds and index funds. And that was a lovely opportunity for me to, I remember it was Magellan, and some of you could remember this a long time ago, and it was paying 8%. And I was very happy with 8% of my money. I felt good about that. Then from one job, I went and got 2 jobs. I had 0 children. I was free and single. And I thought, well, great. I can live obviously off my first job because I was already putting some money away. Now, the second job that I had was an accounting job for some doctors. It was very lovely. And I could take all that and put that into investments. So then I thought, well, I have so many friends at this point. I was around 24, 25. I said, I have a lot of friends that own little businesses like restaurants, bars, etc. And, on holidays, since I'm a single free person, I'm just going to volunteer to help them. I can wait tables. I can do everything. So on Christmas and Christmas Eve, giving them a chance to give their employees off, I would walk in, and Easter, any holiday that would be lovely for them to give their employees off. And I had such confidence that, yes, I am able to do everything. And yes, I can, and I will achieve it all, that I would offer that up. And any of that bonus money that I had, of course, buying some nice things for myself and furnishing the area around me to have new bedroom suite and a nice table and couch and everything that a single person in their 20s could imagine as wonderful. Bicycle, nice 2 cars. Yeah, it was very lovely. And I started growing, and it was this happiness around wealth. And it was this growth desire. And the desire was always living in the joy of the fact that we came here to continually create. And I'll just take the moment, pausing in my story, to again infuse that the purpose of humanity is to come here to dream and create your dreams. So when a person comes in to receive joy and will say, oh, I already have everything and it's time, pen and a paper, when we say, please make your 100 list, let me tell you, you're actually bucking against why you came into this physical form. You came into this physical form to write your 100 lists of asking continually, so that we become a part and a living breath of the creation power that we came here to exercise. So please, please have your 2023 already written, and more askings, so that they have an opportunity to be part of the collective consciousness or the collective unconsciousness. You choose in every moment, what is it that we're part of? If you choose to be part of the collective consciousness, that's deliberate planned dreaming. And that deliberate planned dreaming is the joy that my story comes from, because I know that the one thing that was different from me than the surrounding people around me at that moment of my 20s was that I always knew there was only a yes. And as long as I stayed completely clear and completely in creation and growth, and then always satisfied with what I already had, using the word, I am satisfied completely. Currently, the satisfaction surrounds me. I love the use of my cabinets. I love the use of this desk. I also have an option to have even a nicer desk and gift this one out or throw this one out. And you live in this constant dream of creating more, blessing with more, sharing more, receiving and giving, giving and receiving, and dreaming the growth, dreaming and planning, creating more in joy, and then always viewing the world around me friendly. Always viewing that everything around me I created, I own it all. I am the point of attraction. So if I wish to change my position, including on money, the only thing I would have to do is keep growing my attraction field, getting in range like a cell phone, moving myself in range. So I'm in Beverly Hills. I'm working now as a private accountant on the evenings and weekends if I feel like it. I set all my own hours. A full-time job as a designer. That was up until 24, and then I went in a law firm. So as a designer and then working in law, I had always this growth, this personal desire to have a light and easy life, a wealthy and full life, simple as owning 2 cars versus 1 car. It was always this continual little growth that I had in my heart. And if I was taking now on a third, so I was so energetic. So I said, great, I can be a private accountant for some doctors. That way I learn a lot about health. And many of you wonder how I got into health. Well, here's the key to that. I worked for 6 UCLA doctors. I did some accounting and bill paying for them, et cetera, and just, private answering their mail and all that goodness. And at that moment, I learned a lot about, I used to take their medical journals home at night, the big, huge medical books, and read whatever I could, learn everything I could about essential fatty acids and different surgeries and all kinds of psychiatric situations. And it was so lovely. It was so lovely. And I was always aware of the miracles that were happening because I always kept track. And that was part of the Daily Asking Journal and the Inspiration Notebook that Sylvia and I have put together. That has come from all the years of my life and Sylvie's life of what has worked, how to, make it really simple on one piece of paper every day, how the dream can translate from in your mind and in your heart to actually on a piece of paper. So that's how the journals were born. Also being in masterminding for over 30 years formally in writing in notebooks, it had to be something that you could carry around. That's why the notebooks are a bit smaller. They can fit in your handbag. They could fit in your gym bag easily. They're soft covered. Sometimes people would sell journals with a hard cover. And then when you're carrying it around with you all the time, every day, you're filling it out. I was like, oh, when we do it, it's going to be soft cover and small and easy to fit in any bag that you have near you. So thus the Inspiration Notebook was born and the Daily Asking Journal was born from my life's experience and Sylvie's life experience. She was on the ship. She also had a small book that she carried around. It was a soft cover. It had a lot of lined pages in it. Thus, at the back of the notebooks, you always see some note pages. And she kept all her things in this book and in taped brochures, stickers, train tickets, all kinds of entry tickets. So beautiful. If you ever go to the shows, movies, tape them right into your daily asking journal or your inspiration notebook by the day. Just tape it right on the day that you did the event. It's just lovely to page through them, and you can see. So at that time, I was in my 20s, and Anthony Robbins was living right in the area where I lived. And I became a bit of an Anthony Robbins fan because I did listen to his inspirational speech, and I loved the encouragement, and I loved how he constantly was reminding everybody, it's all you, it's all you, it's all you. And the people who have followed us, you have heard us say that, Sylvia and I reminding you, it's all you. You are the point of attraction. If you'd like to make a change, just change the vibrational field in yourself. Put a smile on your face 12 hours a day. There's a change in your vibrational field. Laugh when a loud car goes by. Laugh when somebody has to vent in front of you. Just laugh in your heart. Laugh in your heart. Keep that smile. Turn around and say, that is their joy, and my joy soup looks like this. I also realized way there in my early 20s that life is, we think it's a linear line. It's a pot of soup. It is a pot that you keep adding joy into, that you keep checking, I prefer this, and then grab that. And it's okay if you've already had all those other things circulating around you, just, it's fine. Leave that all there. Let other people pick. You pick what is joy soup to you and continue on. So in the financial dream, then from 2 possibilities, then I went into 3 income sources. And this was my income garden, remember? So you can see how I was growing my income garden. So now from doing some private accounting work, and then my 3rd thing was helping other friends that own businesses. Whenever I had spare moments, which was holidays, right? I would be off my main job. I just had my joy to give back into this world, let people stay home if they had a big family. And then this was my time to shine. I know it was before I had a family. So I said, I can easily help out at any establishment, and had the joy of collecting that income. And now that I already had my funds set up, my index fund, my mutual funds, my IRA, my stocks with Merrill Lynch set up, I had all these pots. And then I added to dividend reinvestments. And my drips, they're called drips, the dividend reinvestments were different blue chip stocks like IBM, Bank of America, big blue chip stocks that I could send a check off to, whether it was $20 or $2,000, and I could send directly into these. There's about 2,000 different stocks that you can do this with, and you can just mail a check right into their holding company, and the holding company puts it into the stock. And then forever you can check the box, I'd like to reinvest the dividends. So versus getting the little payout of $1.25 or whatever for each of these 10 different ones I had, I would have them over all these years. Remember, now I'm 59, so they've been in there a long time. These $1.25 or $2.25 little bits of money, little soldiers, I call them, financial soldiers, got reinvested into the little financial army marching on for me. And my little teeny golden soldiers would just keep adding on and becoming this beautiful workforce for me. And so as I had this team of workforce going on, these little dividends reinvesting over the years, my IRA put away and investing over the years, my garden began to grow. And then I was going on in my 20s. And now I had 3 sources of income going on. I had my wealth garden begun, very nicely started to being dug. And then I was going to add real estate in. So at that point, at 28 years old, I bought my first condominium here in Florida. And it was lovely to do that. I suggest everybody buy something one time in your life or more, so that you go through the process of purchasing a piece of property or a home, a condominium, whatever it is that suits your desire if you're going to rent it out. And then that piece of property that I bought in Naples, I was able to cash flow on the season of 3 months a year and pay for the entire mortgage if I rented it out 3 months a year. So that condominium went both in my wealth garden, because eventually I sold it and I made wealth on it, though it was income while I had it. And I had the same family that would rent it year after year for those 3 months. And in those 3 months, my mortgage was like $500 back then. And they paid me, I believe, around $2,500 a month. So for 3 months, I could pay the association fee and that pretty clearly. And that worked out beautifully. So I continued growing my income and my wealth gardens. Now my fourth piece of income was rental income for those 3 months. And I was aware that I would like less use on my space. So if I only rented it 3 months a year, at that time, it was great because I would go out skiing, I would stay and visit my mother. So I did my traveling while that was, while I had that rental income. And so I kept that property probably for 20 years. And then I sold it and I made about 53,000 on that property, or 73,000 on that property. And then that money from that property, we invested in a business. You see, so I'm just showing you how it grew. It's called Neogenomics. And that I sold my car. We needed X amount of dollars for Neogenomics. I sold my new car that my husband had bought me. I had a second car, remember, always. So the expensive car I sold and the house I sold, we invested that money in a business that he worked for 19 years and grew into 2,000 employees. And so that's kind of the beginning of, and then I moved to Florida at 30, got married, and we lived in the condominium that I bought at 28 for a few years. Probably married, we stayed in there for 3 years, and then bought this home that I'm sitting in right now. So it just shows you how if you've got a plan and you plan that evolution of growth, you just keep dreaming a little bigger and investing a little wider. And then when my husband joined me and I got married, of course, he was working for Merrill Lynch. Interesting, right? There's a dream, right? I invested with Merrill Lynch, and here my husband's working for Merrill Lynch. It was so happened he was in New York and I'm in Florida. Though I just would love to show everybody how our dream floats into this present moment constantly. And we used to call them coincidences, though it's creation power. So as I understood that Merrill Lynch was guaranteeing like 3% to 11% on the money. So then let's speed the clock forward as we're growing. And because I had my wealth garden planted and my habit, 10 years of always putting something in each of these different areas continually, I continued doing that. It was very simple to do. I then transferred into the health field here and owned a business. I owned Quantum Health. So as my husband bought Neogenomics, I started a business named Quantum Health Systems here in Naples. And then we both worked our businesses for years. And the joy of understanding it was for me, okay, now I'm going to go to work for 20 more years. Though, how about I work with an absolute bullseye in place? And this is where some of you have been on the call last week with us. And we started out, and Sylvia and I, even up to a month ago, started reminding you, have your bullseye. How much money is it going to take for you to live the rest of your life? So we have to start working backwards into the fact of right now. So as I'm working these lots of years, let's put it, I wake up and I say, I have to really be clear, continually redefining that bullseye. So I know now that I'm able to make 5 to 20% easily on my money, anywhere between 5 and 20%. So how much money would I have to put away, investment, all total of all my investments, making, let's just use 5%, so that I could have a beautiful life forever. So replacing my salary, right, or whatever you want to call the income money, if I had my little soldiers, I was telling you about, my little garden planted, and it was able to spin off enough to replace the money it took right now for me to pay for my mortgage or pay for my groceries and my power bill and my insurances and a new car every 5 years or 10 years. What's that number look like? And then how am I going to get to grow into that? And so then when I realized that I had my number, and so I thought a comfortable living for my family, there's 5 adults, so about 100,000 each a year. So that would be $500,000. This vehicle would have to spin off $500,000 profit a year to cover all the adults in my house to have a beautiful life. I have 3 daughters, my husband and I. And I know what I spend, and we do have 3 homes to pay for, et cetera. So it's about 100,000 each to spend. Everybody has a car, everybody has insurance, everybody has cell phones, everybody has cell phone bills, everybody has power bills and electric bills and cable and all the bills that most of us all have. In education bills with school, universities, further degrees, master's diplomas, et cetera. Doctorates, whatever everybody's dream is, and they're in the midst of it right now. So then I said, okay, I came up with my number at 5%. So for $10 million, if we kicked off 5% a year, and I know usually there's years that I can do 11 or better. Just at 5%, I can give my investment to a general firm, and Creative Planning is the firm I use, and they are guaranteeing anywhere from 4.6 to 5.8 or whatever in that range every year. Their history for 20 years shows that they can do that. So I could just take my money at that point and hand it over, though I enjoy doing what I do and what we're all going to be doing together. So they have a portion of it, a portion of this major amount of money. And then when that spins off every year and I can keep that, and I've already made the wheel, I call it the wheel rolling, then my children will be able to basically keep the wheel in the same position or the garden in the same planting, and it can continue to grow. So at this point, our garden, my husband and I and 3 children, are 80 holes, because there's 5 adults planting. So it'd be like 20 times 5, though one of my daughters just turned 21, one is 22, and one is 24. So they're just creating their gardens now. So out of that 80 slots, I'm doing it for the whole family currently because they're all still here. So we have 80 slots in our garden dug, and all of that is creating part of this kickoff that I told you, this spin, and that was the way that my little story, my little mind, my story could think of, why am I working for 30 years? Yes, I'm creating, though. Is there ever, if I wished, I'm going to call it an end game or a pause button, a automatic pilot switch? At what point that automatic pilot can I let it out there and let it go on automatic? My wealth and my creation and my work, that I can just put it on automatic pilot and let it spin and let it kick off. And you're always slightly readjusting things if you want to transfer from one stock to another. Some things, we call it, in your, let's say your 20 plot garden, maybe 3 little holes might just die. The whole investment just fell apart. The company went bankrupt. All right, so that's just 3 holes. You just throw away the dead plant like you're gardening, and you put something else in those 3 little spots. You start over, you take $500 and you buy something else and you put it there. Or you invest with a friend in something else. And you just replant. The 17 other plot pieces are going on and on and on. Yes, Sylvie, go ahead.
Yes, I would like to open the floor for questions, and I wish to start asking you a question. So looking back and being so deliberate with everything, is there anything now that you would advise your younger self to do a little different? Is there anything that you would add or distract from your life to make it even, so to have an even better outcome? I know you create everything. However, is there anything you would now tell your 20-year-old self, okay, pay attention to this?
One thing is, and I see the people here on the board, and we're pretty good about this, is you have to realize that everybody's dream is their dream. And as much as you wish that they're going to come into your dream or your fold or dream with you or believe like you or encourage you in your little path, the fact is, because they have their own thumbprint and their own eye scan, each being is here as a unique puzzle piece. And we have to allow everybody around you to dream their own way. And it's best for us to know what is encouraging to ourselves and then put us in that righteous arena with God. So if you have to shut off your TV, if other people are drinking and you say zero thanks, I mean, I realize for me, I always kept myself in a very quiet space, because that helped my thought processes. Quiet, connected. Remember, connect to the light. I was always connected to God. I did Sunday worship. I always, and Saturday, I did my things that made me happy. I would go horseback riding. So do have as much moments for yourself, as much joy for yourself. I would go horseback riding, just rent a horse and go out in Hollywood Hills and just ride all day on my day off for 3 hours. Or so benefit as much as you can and keep yourself. And we think that, oh gosh, we can just clutter up our lives with lots of people in it and we can still be a deliberate creator so easily. And the truth is, you got to really carve out that alone time, because when you're in deliberate creation, you're in deliberate creation. You've got to be in contemplation, meditation, quiet, Zen, happiness, smiles, just like carving this 1 hour out with MTM in a community of people who are desiring to listen to you as you are, which is similar to who they are, and surround yourself with people who share a vibrational field like you have, so that it's light and easy. That's my biggest suggestion, is always hang around with people who have interest like you do. So if you're going to go biking, if I'm going to go biking, I go with people who love biking. If I'm going to go hiking, I look at down my friend list of who enjoys hiking and I call them. So I always surround myself with people who find joy in the moment of what I'm participating in. And that's where I put myself. So I'm already a deliberate planner of going on a hike or going on a bike ride. If you're trying to push a friend to go on a bike ride that has zero interest, they're going to be complaining the whole time. So I've always positioned myself in right here, this investment club. That's why I asked everybody last week, are you on board for 1 year of learning to grow your wealth? And that is, you have to decide right now that this is your wealth year. This is a moment that you're going to take for yourself to decide to have finance and have money in your life. I chose that at 20. At 20 years old, when I was done with college, I'm like, I'm ready. I'm ready for a very good life, a very easy life, a light and easy life, one that has plenty of finance. I want to give and receive continually. I always want to have extra. I always want to do my dreams and travel and all that. So be a deliberate financial attractor, a financial creator. It is as much as you've done all the other creation in each of your lives, have you really decided that you're going to be a deliberate financial attractor and creator? It is a whole new target for a lot of people. And it's the choice of the story, which Sylvie and I have shared a lot. And Sylvie, I'm speaking at you at this moment, is the Good Samaritan, right? We have to be aware that it isn't about going down and laying in the ditch with the person who fell off their donkey or got robbed. It's about loading them up for 5 minutes, taking them to safety, paying whatever the bill costs, and then leaving on your way and staying in your dream. And next time I come around, I'll be back here and I'll take care of you. And energetically, this is really great. I'm going to share, Sylvie, just the story. Sylvie, my mother, and I went to Phoenix, Arizona a year and a half ago. And the preacher on stage said to us, in my contemplation prayer time this morning, I saw a helmet, and on the helmet there was a jaguar. And it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Anybody here from Florida? And we were the only 3 out of 400 people from Florida. We raised our hand and he came up and he preached over us for a moment. And so I returned to Phoenix from the 1st to the 8th. I was not on the last Monday meeting, if we noticed, and I was in Phoenix. So now remember, I'm going to continue right where I left off, where I watered that garden in Phoenix, Arizona. Last time I was there, it was Sylvie, and there was this helmet that some preacher saw and he spoke over us. So when I got back, guess who drives up my driveway? I was back 5 days, and up my driveway comes a black Mercedes, and out of the Mercedes comes a gentleman, and he says, "I play for the Jaguars." And I said, "Yep, I recreated my dream. I watered it. I went to Phoenix, spent 8 days there. Last time I was there, the seed was planted, and here's the Jaguar player up my driveway." So, and he had 2 knee replacements, and I'm going to help him with the scars on those knees in September. So if we really truly understand that your life is a continuation of every seed you have ever planted, if you would like to have it in wealth, decide that part of your planting is severely in wealth. And that's what I suggest and wish for all of you. And I think that if you're yet to have anything in your life, you just have yet to focus on it, yet to water it, yet to realize it. It's there. Though now you have to beat your chest like Tarzan and go, "Oh, I'm realizing it now. I'm going to realize this finance in my life. I am ready for it. And I am now going to be totally calling it in and happy." I'm going to say, I love all you rich people out there. I love all you Mercedes owners. Even if you make loud noises, all you super truck owners and all that go by. I love it. It's awesome. Everybody have your joy soup. And the more I see wealth spent in my town, now it's busy here in Naples, Florida. And I love it. Why? Because there's wealth with it. With all the people come all the money in their pockets, and they're spending it. And my daughter's waiting tables and earning money. And you know, everybody that's working here gets a little extra. You own a business here, you get a little extra because more people are here. Be joyful when we're in line and there's lots of people with lots of wallets. So start seeing everything financially as wonderful gain, and be happy that, like Sylvie and I growing Receive Joy, we're glad there's more people on this planet, more opportunity to share and encourage others to grow into a deliberate creation. So again, I say, write down that you've decided to be a deliberate planned creator, including your finances, and this year, totally your finances. Thank you, Sylvie, for the question. Go right ahead if you'd like to ask further.
Well, let's see if anyone else wishes to ask a question first. Do you have a question for Carisa?
I do, I guess, if that's okay. I am muted.
Go ahead.
Well, I have like probably 1,000, and I stayed on here longer, but my other appointment's just going to wait. You had mentioned earlier, I want to know, like, I am currently satisfied with, and then kind of how to state what you want, you know. So I was just wondering if you could kind of just go back over that and just say that, because I know that if we want more, I think, you know, I understand the concept of saying I'm currently satisfied with, but can you just share with me how you state that again? Like when you want to bring in more, but you want to also be appreciative of what you're currently satisfied with.
Right. So it's more than the word appreciative of what you have currently. It is a trigger word for the universe to open the floodgates and let more in. So the reason we go around and state out loud, I'm satisfied with my windows, I'm satisfied with my drapes, I'm satisfied with my checkbook, I'm satisfied with the bank I bank with, I'm satisfied with the pillow, I'm satisfied with this computer, I'm satisfied with all these people in this moment, I'm satisfied with the universe, I'm satisfied with loud noise, I'm satisfied with zero anything. It's so that we are constantly in communication with the atoms that float around, showing them how open we are for everything to flow in, because we're aware of everything, and we have to flip both sides of the coin when we flip the coin to get more momentum, tails and heads. So the little part of us that might be, and the one that's absolutely there, we've got to bring motion to both those sides. So the only way that more can flow is if you release everything. So I'm satisfied with the silly little apartment I'm in, and I'm satisfied to welcome the huge one that's ready for me.
Okay.
I'm satisfied with the space I am completely broke. I'm satisfied with being completely wealthy. And so the universe is like, okay, wide range here. It's called being aware, being woken up, being conscious too. I'm flipping both sides of the coin all the time, because once it gets some air, everything's possible again. If it sits there, you've buried your talent. We have to flip the coin. You got to get air. You got to just bring it all out there. I'm satisfied with an old jacket. I'm satisfied even more with a new jacket.
Thank you. Yeah. I think I do. When I do, I definitely, I mean, I give vibes out that I'm very, grateful, satisfied. And I like the idea of bringing motion to both sides of the coin. That's powerful.
Yes. Yeah.
And
So we're releasing stuckness. That's what we're doing here.
And I think that, I'm one of those people that gives away a lot. And I didn't think I needed financial, wealth. I could be satisfied perhaps, but I think I definitely am changing that story. Yeah. And I think it's important because I have worked for over 35 years and have all this knowledge and research, that, I think that it's time that I change it. So now
there's
so
only now. So in this moment,
now,
I prefer to be rich. Say it. Say it out
now
loud.
in this moment, I prefer to be rich. Yeah.
There you go.
In this moment, I
there.
prefer to be rich. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a decision. And now live it. Now do everything in the power of your vibrational field to look rich, to act rich, to feel rich, to know your richness, to declare it, to live deliberately in richness, to tell all the rich people how happy you are that there are all these rich people around you, to show you that it's possible.
Yeah. And I
and
feel
then find your five millionaire friends and start hanging out, having tea with them, asking them questions, rubbing shoulders with them, smiling at them. Again, you are like the 5 friends you hold.
Yeah. And I would
That's
say that
the dream.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do live in, we're very lucky. My husband was very successful. So we're fortunate with that. And we're surrounded by friends that are millionaires, or, I guess a whole continuum spectrum of everybody in my life. So I don't have just one spectrum.
So now it's your turn.
Yeah. So, right. But I think that's probably where, thank you.
Yeah. So I am wealthy. I am rich. I am prosperous. It's all, I, Carisa, am a millionaire. Jump on your bed like my little kids' story and ask, you shall receive, and scream, I love being a millionaire. Flip the coin, get excited, look excited about money. I am so excited when I see all these Ferraris drive down my street and Corvettes and all that. And they take them out for a 5-minute spin once a month so that the engine runs. I'm like, good on you. Good. Have those pretty things sitting in the garage because they make you feel good. They're toys and they make you feel good. Have some toys. I'm for all of it. I'm for all of it.
Well, and what do you think about the term, I'm working so hard? Is that a negative term in your perspective?
Well, that and it suits you, that's great. I negate that and I say I'm working so diligently. I'm working so smartly. I'm working so joyfully. I'm working so persistently. I'm working deliberately for an outcome that I love. And when 10 hours go by, Sylvia and I have this a lot of times, it'll be late in the evening. We're working deliberately in joy. We enjoy each other, number one. We enjoy the fact that there's an opportunity to share this with lovely humans like you. It's just, again, all that I'm sharing today is just my story. One millionaire, one person who somehow got there And if anything that I can share from just who I am, it's as simple as just who I am, sparks a light in any soul, then it was worth me getting up this morning and washing myself off and showing up with a smile.
Love
And
it.
even if it's just the smile, it's already been blessed, because it's a prayer, it's smile, it's an opportunity to be part of a community that really cares about each other and really knows each other. And I love everybody on here completely, and everybody who's had a communication with me personally and knows me at Sylvie personally knows that we play 100%. We're all out all the time. And that's the dream that I hope each of you really see through us. We are playing and pouring into every soul that comes across our path, even a football player, 100%. So he said, can I come in and look at your house? I want to buy my mom a house. And I thought of Elvis Presley wanting to buy his mom. He's 26, buy his mom a house. And I'm like, yeah, please come on in. I had that same dream 23 years ago when I bought this house, right? Buy myself a house is what my dream was. So yeah, so I mean, that's the dream. All of us just playing it. I charge you in great joy, playing it. Talk about wealth. Talk about it to everybody this year. It's all about investments, money, wealth, riches, joy, jewels, gold, silver, copper, great vacations, billionaires. Let's just have fun. Total fun. Thank you. Anybody else?
If
I
nobody
just
else
want
has
to
a
pick.
question, please.
I was
I was
going to
just
say,
going to say,
oh, go
sorry.
ahead. Ladies first.
No, I was just going to say, if nobody else has a question, I'll ask one more, but I'm going to wait till the end and see, because
I simply was going to say, I was going to pick up on what you said, Carissa, that it's just a joy to be connected to a group of positive minded people, to hear your story, and, uh, just the connection with everyone is very uplifting on this Monday. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Alan, and welcome to the group again. We love you.
I love you too. Thank you.
Anyone else
inspired.
for? Yes.
Travis, did you have a question? Yes, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. First, my question is, so I feel I do all this, like I'm consumed with wealth, with abundance, with the understanding that we are God's children, and He created us to live a life with all being within our possession and being stewards over it. My question is, so I study this, as you know, nonstop, all the time. Fix my words, all the time, right? And I feel really confident with my ability to create, like, let's say, like, if I don't mean to go into too much detail, but if like beyond ends meet, right? So that's kind of where I've lived pretty much all my life, or below that space, which is ends meet or below that. So beyond that, I feel confident with my ability to take the extra money and create opportunities that create more money, like creating partnerships or starting a small business or idea to generate more income. I'm confident in that. But what has been not very easy for me is the fact that before I can get to that point, my expenses are here. The month I run out of money. And because I haven't gotten to a place where I have that extra $30,000-$40,000 to create like I want, with the type of people that I will be able to create more opportunities to generate more income with. Before I can do that, expenses are here. Does that make sense?
Go get more money.
Yeah, that's That's what I'm working on right now.
So, okay, so as a millionaire, this is what I'm now here to really share with you.
Yeah.
Go get more. Whenever my husband
Amen.
and I didn't have some, we just laughed. We're like, well, let's go get some more. Let's get
Yeah.
off our heinies. Let's sign up for another babysitting job. Let's walk another dog. Let's go get some more money.
Yes, ma'am.
And that is what we've always done. And it's fun to go get more money. I want you to open your heart to it. So you get up at 4 a.m., go to the gym, and then you start work at 5, whatever it is, you create another string of income. I see, yay, Karen's on the call. You do something more. So I'm just looking at her, you sell vitamins if you're already a provider of services. You then might sell books, or then you might sell colloidal silver water or give it away, whatever it is. You create something that you can do with your own hands that is somewhat of a value to another human. So as we look at each other, even I, who am a healer, can go and Karen does blood tests through her office. So as I'm seeing her, she's doing something that's beyond what I do in my office. So I'll go over to her to get that service, and I'll send people to her to get that service. So I took my sister with me and to get that service, right? So Jarvis, and I know a bit about your background, and I want to jumpstart you here completely, is for you to say, Jarvis, it's time for you to get out there 12 hours a day. Yes, we have our kids, and yes, you take your weekends off or whatever, and say, what can I do that maybe even my oldest child can go with me, like walking a dog or getting the neighbor's mail, or, handy manning, putting light bulbs into their house because, they're older and they can't get up the ladder. Did you knock door to door and say, I've got 2 arms and 2 legs, I can do these things? Because I would hire you in 5 minutes if you were over here. Could you weed my lawn? Could you do this? And so the thing about Sylvie's learned this living with me and near me. I can do everything. So when somebody knocks on my door and they say, oh, I'm looking for somebody to help me, da, 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 da. Here I am. Just ask right here. I can do this. And in the confidence that I said, now I know I could watch YouTube. I could read a book just like you. I'm educated enough. I have enough strong will. My daughter asked me this just the other day. Mom, when people come to you from around the world to have medical things done on them, how do you have so much confidence that you can help them, no matter what they have? And I said, because I trust in this whole universe with billions of people here. If that human is standing in front of me right now, who is the only person who can help them? I am. Because God made this meeting happen with perfection. See, that's living by absolute design, as I know that the minute 2 energies have come together, it's already pre-designed by the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is present, and it's going to happen if I say what? Yes.
Yes.
So, Jarvis, you have 1 word left in your vocabulary. Yes.
Yes.
I will. And when you come around and just start volunteering, like I said, I went to all my friends that had businesses and I said, on holidays, I will volunteer. Let the other people go home. It's my gift back to you. On Easter, I can remember one Easter, I served 1 table and made $400 tip. That was 30 years ago. I went there and gave 1 bit of service, and they were foreign people or whatever. They were just so happy. It was Easter. I worked for 1 hour. And I'm just saying, I put myself in a place that had zero to do with what I even did. Yes. I just volunteered. So put yourself in money-making places. Yes. And it's time, it's this moment, this only is now. And the joy soup for you is get more money, because you do know what to do with that money. I trust that. I've known with you. And then I want you to feel, so if a big check comes in the mail, how does it feel when you open it? If it feels good, I want you to put in that same feeling all the time. Say, when I had that, and then I went to the bank to deposit, it felt so good. I like that feeling so much that I'm going to go get some more.
Yes, ma'am.
So you mentioned that you also clean places. Then tell them, you know what? Take an extra account and take your oldest child, even if they're 12, and show them how to work with their hands. Because in this world right now, everybody's got to show people around them how to work with their hands.
Yes.
And show them that, and tell them, I have a gardener and he brings his younger son, and he says, oh, just pay my son, $30 or whatever to help to clean up after the hurricane or whatever. And I'm happy to do it. And the thing is, his son has to rake leaves and all this all day with his dad, put an 8-hour day in. I'm sure it's the hardest day the kid ever spent for 8 hours, though it was great because the dad made him work.
Yeah.
And that's the only possibility. The kid probably would have stayed home and played video games all day or whatever. So the dad said, put your hat on and your long sleeves. We're going to help people. It's the hurricane, and you will even receive some money. Now, the good thing about you, Jarvis, is you can tell your kids what to do with that money after they got it. The idea is you got to go get some.
Yes.
So if anybody knows me, especially Sylvie, I have cleaned homes I'm a millionaire. I have said yes to old people, whatever they have decided. Even I've said, Sylvie, this is the only time I'm doing this one. You're on your own after this one. I will come. I will feed a cat. I will lift its shit out of the box. I'll do whatever it takes, right? It's for $20, Jarvis, but it's the action. It's the action. I'm going to get more. I'm going to get more. And Sylvie and I laugh.
Yes.
When people call this house, we say yes. One of us gets off our hinder and takes care of a cat, a dog, a mailbox, whatever, an old person, drives them, whatever the request is.
Yes.
We do it. And we always say we will. And we go around and we tell people, if you are ready to have this done, call us. Call us. We'll show up. And, and it's all, and people always say, oh, thank you. Thank you. And then what's so great, Jarvis, when cool things happen, like somebody gets a cookie on their bookshelf or whatever it is, they're like, did one of your girls come over and put that in my back patio for me? Like a bottle of wine and all. And I laugh. Why? Because we're the first people they think of.
Yeah.
That's going to show up and do something wildly kind, because we always do.
Yes.
I would say that's somebody else or God, because, that one I zero credit for. So because we always show up. I mean, we're laughing. Even Sylvie, she went to water they planted new bushes down the street. She went every day and watered their bushes, What we'll do for $10, we'll just do it because it's flow, because allow, because the more we can, the more we will, and the more we will, the more that'll flow, and the more that flows, the more we can give. And now that you really have seen full circle of who we are, Jarvis, from us outsider a year ago, right? Or whenever we met to now. I mean, you really got the full smorgasbord of seeing this, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Action.
Yes.
And if everybody lived according to this, it would be a great world, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Model. So, I want you to be a testimony to everybody that what you and your wife have seen out of this group, out of this model, out of the souls that are in it. It's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now we're all going to pray to go further with you, and we'll interview you one time and tell what your talents are, and other people here possibly can even hire those talents.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's the dream. Well, thank you so much.
Awesome.
I love you.
Love you too.
Just real quick, and Jarvis, I sent you a text message or private chat in the chat. So
okay, awesome. I'll check it.
Yeah. Too often people will chat, and I've had that happen where we'll be in this thing and somebody will respond to something somebody says, but I'm not aware of the fact that, geez, I need to be looking at the chat too. So, so anyway, I wanted to say that. This is great. Thank you.
Awesome. I'll check it out. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Love you, Karen. Love you, everybody.
Okay, close us in prayer
is...
real quick. We always have time for prayer.
Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you that we had this moment together. We thank you for my story, Lord. We all have such a beautiful one. We know and trust that encouragement is here for each other. And when we come together like this, great things have happened and will continue happening, Lord, because you're the happening of it all. It's all you, the Holy Spirit, Jesus, all the work that's already been done is for us to now rejoice. Lord, I pray this wealth and the abundance over everybody here on this call and everybody in our group. Lord, thank you that we come together and that there's so many millionaires in this group already that have walked the walk and have done it well and have planted the income and the wealth gardens, both of them equally. continually flowing in, and the yes, I can, Lord. Let us each say that. Let us put ourselves out there in service to every human that walks by, Lord, that we can always better their lives just because of who we are. It's so simple, so light, so easy. Put us always in the right moment, in the right position, Lord, to have that smile on our face and that open heart. And we are now all asking formally for the inheritance, the wealth that you have for each of us. Let us smile knowing that it's already on its way, Lord, because from the beginning of the moment of foundation of this world, you had wealth for each of us, riches, great glory, gold, silver, diamonds. It's all part of the creation, and we are your creators. So it's for us to call it in, Lord. We know that it's up to us to call in this wealth and to use it graciously and to spread it around, Lord. And what better people, these best that you have right here that are going to do just that with all the wealth that continues creating throughout this year and beyond. Amen. Love you all. God bless you.
Thank you. Bless you all. Have a wonderful and blessed week. We'll see you again. All right. Look forward to hearing from all of you. Have a blessed day. Nice to hear your stories.